Have you ever found yourself staring out the window after breakfast, wondering, now what? You've worked hard your whole life, raised a family, built a career, kept everything moving, and now, suddenly, the days stretch a little longer. And quieter. Retirement is supposed to be the golden time, right? The reward after years of doing everything for everyone else. But if you're being honest, maybe a part of you feels, well, a little bored. And that's okay. More people feel this way than you'd think. The good news is, boredom isn't the end. It's actually the beginning of something new. Retirement opens the door to something a lot of us haven't had in a while, freedom. Not just freedom from a schedule, but freedom to choose what fills your day, your mind, and your heart. The question is, how do you find purpose again? Where do you go to feel joy, energy, and that spark that makes you excited to get up in the morning? In this video, we're going to talk about 5 wonderful hobbies that aren't just fun, they can actually help you rediscover meaning and motivation in your 60s and beyond. Whether you're feeling stuck, restless, or just curious about something new, these ideas are practical, enjoyable, and easy to start. And who knows? One of them might just become the thing that brings color and excitement back into your everyday life. Let's start with something simple, powerful, and deeply fulfilling: gardening. Now I know, not everyone has a backyard or a green thumb. But hear me out. Gardening is more than just putting plants in the ground. It's about nurturing life, watching things grow, and finding peace in the process. There's something incredibly grounding about getting your hands in the soil, feeling the sun on your back, and tending to something that depends on your care. It gives your day structure. It gets you outside. And believe it or not, studies have shown that gardening can actually reduce stress, improve mood, and even sharpen memory. I once met a woman named Eleanor. She was 68 when she started her first herb garden on her small apartment balcony. Nothing fancy. Just a few pots of basil, mint, and lavender. But she told me something I'll never forget. She said, "Every morning I go out there, water the plants, talk to them like old friends. And somehow, they talk back. Not with words, but with life." That little balcony became her sanctuary. She started learning new recipes to use her herbs, gifting jars of dried mint to neighbors, and slowly, her days became filled with purpose again. That's the power of something as humble as a garden. You don't need acres of land or expert skills. A few pots by the window, some seeds, and a little care, that's all it takes to start. Whether it's vegetables, flowers, or succulents, the joy comes from watching life unfold under your care. It's calming, creative, and completely yours. Now, if you're someone who prefers the rhythm of words over the rhythm of watering cans, this next one might speak to your soul: writing. You don't need to be a poet or a novelist to put your thoughts on paper. Writing can take any form that feels right for you. Journaling, memoirs, letters to your younger self, even short stories or blog posts. The beauty of writing is that it helps you process your experiences, reflect on your journey, and even share your wisdom with others. Think about how much life you've lived. The lessons, the laughter, the heartbreaks, the victories. You have a story that no one else in the world can tell quite like you can. And maybe, just maybe, someone out there needs to hear it. I knew a retired school teacher, Mr. Howard, who started writing short stories at 72. He said he never had time for it when he was working, but once he retired, the words just came. At first, he wrote for himself, little scenes from childhood, memories of old friends. Then he started sharing them with his grandkids. One day, his daughter typed one of the stories and printed it in a little booklet. The whole family read it over Sunday lunch, and there wasn't a dry eye at the table. What started as a quiet hobby became a beautiful way for him to connect with his family, and more importantly, with himself. Writing isn't about being perfect, it's about being real. About creating space in your day to think, to dream, to express yourself. You can write just a few lines a day or spend an hour getting lost in your thoughts. You might be surprised by what you discover about yourself. Sometimes, the pen knows where your heart wants to go before your mind catches up. Now that we've talked about nurturing the earth and exploring your inner world, let's keep that energy going and explore even more ways to fill your days with passion and meaning. Because discovering what lights you up is really what this chapter of life is all about. After all, you've spent years giving your time, energy, and attention to others. Now, it's your turn. And the next hobby I want to talk about brings together creativity, hands-on learning, and a whole lot of fun, learning a musical instrument. Now wait, before you tell me, I'm too old for that, or I have no musical bone in my body, let me tell you something important: it's never too late to start. In fact, learning something new like music after 60 can be especially good for your brain. It activates areas of memory, coordination, and emotional processing all at once. Whether it's the gentle strumming of a ukulele, the soothing keys of a piano, or even learning to sing, music can become a joyful and healing part of your day. I once spoke with a man named Carl who picked up the harmonica at 70. He said it started as a joke, a gift from his grandson, but after watching a few videos online, he gave it a try. What surprised him most wasn't how fun it was, though it was, but how much calmer and happier he felt after just a few minutes of playing. It's like therapy with a tune, he told me. Every evening, after dinner, he'd sit by the window, practice a few melodies, and smile to himself, because he was doing something new. Something that belonged to him, and him alone. Learning an instrument doesn't mean you have to perform for anyone or become the next Beethoven. It just means exploring sound, rhythm, and feeling with your own two hands. And thanks to YouTube, apps, and beginner-friendly lessons online, you don't need a private teacher or years of training. You just need curiosity, patience, and a bit of time. It's not about perfection. It's about joy. And tapping into something that stirs your spirit in a whole new way. If music isn't quite your rhythm, then maybe you're someone who enjoys building, fixing, or creating things from scratch. If so, this next hobby might be right up your alley, woodworking or crafting. There's something incredibly satisfying about working with your hands, taking raw materials and turning them into something beautiful, functional, or even meaningful to others. Whether it's carving, painting, building birdhouses, making jewelry, or sewing, hands-on hobbies give you a clear sense of progress. You start with nothing, and by the time you're done, you have something to show for your effort. It's a physical reminder that you still have the power to create and contribute. And for many retirees, that's exactly the kind of purpose they've been missing. Take Barbara, for example. She retired after 35 years as a nurse and suddenly felt like she had nothing to do with her hands, something that had always brought her comfort. So she signed up for a beginner's pottery class at her local community center. At first, she said it felt silly. "I made a crooked bowl," she laughed. "It couldn't hold soup if it tried." But by the third week, she was smiling more. By the fifth, she was bringing home vases and mugs. By the end of the season, she was selling a few pieces at the local market. But more than that, she said pottery helped her reconnect to a side of herself she had forgotten, the side that slows down, focuses, and finds joy in the process, not just the product. So maybe you give it a try. You don't need a studio or expensive tools. A simple craft kit, some clay, a set of paints, or a beginner's tool set can open a whole new world. And the bonus? Many of these hobbies can be shared. You can craft with grandkids, build projects with a friend, or gift your creations to people you love. That sense of giving, of creating something that brings someone else joy, it fills you up from the inside out. And that brings me to something even deeper, something that ties all of these ideas together, the feeling that what you do each day still matters. That you're still growing, still contributing, still alive with possibility. Finding the right hobby after retirement isn't about staying busy for the sake of it. It's about reconnecting with your sense of purpose. About waking up and having something to look forward to, even if it's just a few quiet minutes with your garden, your journal, your guitar, or your toolkit. Each of these hobbies isn't just a way to pass the time, they're opportunities to rediscover what makes you you. Because the truth is, retirement isn't the end of your story. It's a brand new chapter, one where you get to decide the plot. Now that we've explored a few hands-on and creative ways to bring more joy into your life, let's keep going. Because there's one more hobby I'd love to share, one that's not only rewarding, but can also touch the lives of others in ways you might never expect. Because when we talk about finding joy and purpose after 60, we can't leave out one of the most fulfilling paths of all, volunteering. Yes, volunteering may not sound like a hobby in the traditional sense, but the truth is, it can be one of the most life-giving ways to spend your time, and in many ways, it gives back to you just as much as it gives to others. Think about it. You've lived a life full of stories, lessons, and skills. You've been through ups, downs, wins, losses, and you've come out the other side wiser and stronger. That wisdom? It's valuable. It's needed. There are people in your community right now who could benefit from your presence, your patience, your support. Whether you're helping kids with reading, serving meals at a shelter, assisting at a local library, or just being a friendly ear at a hospital, every small act of service has ripple effects you might never fully see. But you'll feel them. And they'll change you. I met a retired bus driver once, named Thomas. He wasn't sure what to do with himself after 40 years on the job. His days felt quiet, too quiet. His daughter suggested he volunteer at a nearby elementary school where they needed reading buddies. So he gave it a shot. Just 1 hour a week. That 1 hour turned into 2, then 4, and by the end of the semester, Thomas had made a group of little friends who lit up when he walked through the door. He told me, "I may not drive a bus anymore, but I still show up for people. That's all I've ever wanted to do." And just like that, he found purpose again. The beauty of volunteering is that it connects your heart to something bigger. It reminds you that no matter your age, you are still capable of making a difference. And that feeling of being needed, of being useful, it feeds your soul. You don't need to commit to something big. Even 1 hour a week, one friendly visit, one simple act of kindness, it matters. And it just might be the thing that brings your days back to life. Now, let's take a step back for a moment. You started watching this video because maybe, just maybe, you felt a little bored lately. Maybe your days feel repetitive. Or maybe you've been wondering if this retired life is really all it's cracked up to be. And that's okay. It's more than okay, it's honest. And honesty is where change begins. What you've seen here today isn't just a list of hobbies. It's a reminder that your life is far from over. In fact, this can be the most meaningful, creative, and joyful chapter yet, if you're willing to explore, to try, to open yourself up again. Whether it's tending to a plant, writing down your stories, strumming a tune, crafting something with your hands, or simply giving your time to someone who needs it, each of these things has the power to reconnect you to something deeper, your purpose. You don't have to do all 5. You don't even have to do one perfectly. Just pick one that calls to you, even a little, and give it a try. Let it be messy. Let it be new. Let it remind you that you're still growing. And here's something else I hope you remember, you're not alone. So many people your age are rediscovering themselves right now. Finding joy in the small things. Letting go of who they were so they can make room for who they're becoming. There's no right way to live this season of life, only your way. The key is to stay open, stay curious, and keep showing up for yourself. If this video spoke to you, I'd love to hear about it. Drop a comment below, tell me which hobby sparked your interest, or share a hobby that's brought joy into your life. Let's make this a space where we support and inspire each other, because the world needs more of that, and more of you. And hey, if you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more uplifting content made just for you. Every week, we're here with practical ideas, gentle motivation, and real conversations about living fully, no matter your age. You deserve a life that feels meaningful. You deserve joy, laughter, discovery, and connection. Retirement isn't the end. It's a beautiful new beginning, and your next adventure is waiting. Here's to your 60s, 70s, and beyond. May they be full of purpose, passion, and peace. You've earned it. And you're just getting started.